Joining us now is News Corp columnist Angela Mollard. Angela, thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
We've got plenty of royal and entertainment news to get into, but I have to start with what's happening here in Australia and the disgusting acts of anti-Semitism that we're seeing play out. Just last week, a Melbourne synagogue was torched in an act of terror, and just 2 days ago, properties in Sydney's east were defaced. Anthony Albanese is under pressure. He's being accused of not doing nearly enough to support our Jewish community. You know, how have you been feeling? What's your take on this?
It's terribly worrying because these are hate attacks. There's nothing else to call them other than hate attacks. And Albanese has lost the narrative on this. He has been trying so hard to politic that he's forgotten about people, as evidenced by the fact it's taken him so many days to get to Melbourne to the synagogue. When he gets there, his delivery looks stilted. He looks uncomfortable. He clearly doesn't have command of the situation, as Chris Minns has had in New South Wales, who was there at the Woollahra incident promptly with strong messaging about stepping up the police operation around there, making people feel safe. I mean, it's such an important thing for our society that everybody feels safe. And, you know, again, today we've had the UN resolution where Australia has voted. And again, this is stoking more and more anti-Semitism. And I just think there needs to be a much, much stronger directive from the government. And they need to care less about what their voters are thinking about and more about the people, all of the people who actually vote for them.
Absolutely.
Or not vote for them, frankly.
Yeah.
It's, you know, they may be voters, they may not be voters, but the care and the safety of people across the country is paramount.
Because it's devastating. We live in these communities. We don't want to see these acts of hate. We care about everyone in different communities, and it's so sad to see this happening. And I think many of us are feeling terrified that it's going to continue because Albo's been so weak on this. I think you've made a good point that Chris Minns has been really strong. He says he's open to potentially changing legislation to make it safer.
Absolutely, he has. He's talking about legislation. He's also talking about the police operation. And what I find terribly sad is the directive to Jewish people not to come and visit our country. I mean, frankly, Australia, we are supposed to be the welcoming, safe, multicultural, accepting, you know, beautiful country that we are. What do we look like on the world stage when we have these acts of violence happening that make visitors to our country, never mind those who live here, feel deeply unsafe?
Yeah. And I've been speaking to people over in Israel, and they say, some of them say, that they feel safer in Israel than they do in Australia, and that's just something we have to be ashamed of.
Absolutely.
It's not the Australia that we know and that we're proud of. But look, we've got to move on to something lighter, some royal news now. Donald Trump, he's praised the Prince of Wales as a good-looking guy after their meeting in Paris. Speaking to the New York Post, he said, Prince William looked really very handsome last night. Some people look better in person. He looked great, really nice. And I told him that. Trump added that they had a great talk and discussed health concerns within the royal family. But gosh, Donald Trump is pretty funny. He knows how to be charming.
This would be the ultimate bromance if Prince William reciprocated. But of course, the royal family cannot step into politics. They can just be pleasant and nice. But I mean, Trump is playing this one big time. He loved the late Queen. He loved being invited to the palace. He wants to maintain that relationship with Charles and, of course, his successor. What William privately thinks about it, you have to imagine. We know years ago Princess Anne was kind of in a meeting when Trump was there and the Queen was there, and there was a sort of consternation from the Queen that Anne wasn't moving along quickly enough to shake Trump's hand. So we have no idea what they think behind the scenes. But yeah, I love the fact that Trump, and of course Trump notoriously hates Meghan and Harry. We know that. They've had bitter work. Well, Trump's been rude about Harry, and he may even, you know, still yet revoke his citizenship. But I do think this is hilarious. I'd love to know what William went back to home and said to Kate about the interaction. I'm sure it would be a little different than as Trump reported it.
No, I'd love to hear that too. But look, speaking of Meghan Markle, she showcased her Spanish skills, and Prince Harry has claimed that his wife is fluent in Spanish. In their new Netflix documentary about polo players, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex made a very brief appearance in the Netflix polo, co-produced by their Archwell film. Let's take a look.
¿Sí? ¿En Palermo bien?
Sí, las canchas.
Está bueno, ahí no estaba la cancha de polo.
Sí, pero me encanta el 25 de mayo.
Sí, mira qué bueno, claro. El interior habla.
What do you make of the Netflix show? Is it going to help their image?
I've read the reviews of it and it's been absolutely panned. Look, this is a niche interest that Harry's interested in. Netflix have to get their money, so they've done a few docos. They did memorably, obviously, the one about themselves, which was a huge ratings winner. Look, Meghan is a skilled woman. She studied in Madrid and she worked for the Argentinian embassy in the US, so her Spanish is great. She apparently has a couple of other languages. She performs brilliantly on camera because, of course, she's an actress, but that skill set doesn't resonate with people. The skill set we need to be seeing from her is communication skills, empathy. There's just... We keep hearing about these things that Meghan is great at, but we're not feeling it, are we? And I'm not sure why we're not, and I'm not sure what their projects, of course, she's got American Riviera Orchard, her business about to come out. She's appointed herself CEO of it because she couldn't find someone to do that, and yet that's mired in drama. I just think, this is this show, a little bit of a PR exercise for them, in a soft PR exercise, but according to the reviews, it's not that brilliant.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Look, we're approaching the 5-year mark of Megxit. January 2025 will be the anniversary of Harry and Meghan fleeing the UK, starting their privacy tour, as South Park named it. But looking back at the 5 years, it hasn't been a success, has it?
I don't think it's been a success. You could argue that Harry and Meghan have got some sort of freedom, but it doesn't appear to be the freedom that they really wanted. They, of course, wanted half in and half out with the royal family, to still be royal, but to have that freedom and live overseas. The Queen kiboshed it. But if you were to look at where they stand now, they don't seem to have any kind of legacy projects, as you might see that the Prince and Princess of Wales have around homelessness, about early childhood. They don't have anything like that. They are scattered around doing a charity here, a pseudo-royal tour, a TV show, a podcast, a jam-making business. There's no coherent branding or purpose, and I think that's really problematic. There's also speculation about the state of their relationship. They're doing a lot of separate projects, which is absolutely fine. But at the end of the day, is Harry happy? No, he's got a string of court cases still rumbling on. He's still arguing about his security. They had only the car chase claims in New York, which soured the kind of media relationship with them yet again. It hasn't been an unmitigated success. It hasn't even been a tiny, tiny success. It's been a failure, I would say.
Finally, entertainment news. Rapper Jay-Z has been accused of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old with Diddy. Both men have denied the allegations. And the latest reports say that Beyonce plans to stand by her husband, Jay-Z. But these are such serious allegations. I think many people have been waiting to see what other celebrities may have been caught up in this alleged Diddy party list. And I suppose that Jay-Z is the first high-profile person to be named.
And, of course, he's been friends with Diddy for decades, so we knew that he probably knew something, but to be implicated in this way with a 13-year-old girl when he has a 12-year-old daughter himself, and, of course, he was on the red carpet earlier this week. Look, interesting damage limitation exercise there. They have come out fighting. There is an empire to lose here. This isn't just a small, family or rapper with no consequence. This is a guy who is well-connected. He's at the top echelon of the entertainment industry. And I think the way that they handle this is super interesting. Instead of the top-line messaging being Jay-Z, accused of this rape, what the top line is Jay-Z coming out and actually defending himself and attacking the lawyer. So it's really, really clever politicking around this issue. But of course, where it lands, at this stage, it's an allegation. We have to presume that he's innocent at this stage.
Of course.
But the fact that Diddy is in prison and the fact that the rumours that have swirled around this for years, it doesn't look good.
Angela Mollard, thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour.
Thanks.